The strongest predictor of how long you'll live is your cardiorespiratory fitness, more than smoking, blood pressure, having diabetes, or heart disease. And the single best measure of fitness is something called VO2 max. By the end of this video, you'll know what it means, why the evidence behind it is so strong, and exactly what you can do about yours. And it doesn't require high-intensity training. I'll show you exactly what I've done to raise my score by 18 points. I'm Dr. Eoghan Colgan, an ER doctor. I see the consequences of poor fitness every shift. Being fit keeps you out of the hospital and gives you the reserve you need when things go wrong. Most people have no idea how much their fitness has declined. Do you? Now, there are lots of ways to measure fitness. Resting heart rate variability, heart rate recovery. All are useful, but VO2 max is the gold standard. It's the maximum amount of oxygen your body can use during exercise, determined by how well your lungs load oxygen into your blood, how well your heart pumps that oxygen to your muscles, and how effectively your muscles use it. The heart is the most important factor. When you exercise, your heart becomes bigger and stronger and delivers more blood and oxygen with every beat. Next, most important, exercise causes the muscles to create more mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses that convert oxygen into energy. More mitochondria means more oxygen used. Now, the most accurate way to measure VO2 max is in a lab, exercising at increasing intensity, wearing a mask that measures oxygen going in and carbon dioxide coming out. And when oxygen consumption stops rising, no matter how much harder you push, that's your VO2 max. Now, smartwatches estimate it using a simpler principle, that a fitter heart is stronger and pumps more blood per beat, so it can beat less often to deliver the same amount of oxygen. The watch measures your heart rate at a given intensity and infers your VO2 max from that, adjusted for age, sex, and weight. It's an estimate, not a direct measurement. The number can be off by 5 or 6 points, but the trend over time is reliable, and that's what matters. Now, a typical sedentary person in their 40s might score around 30. Elite endurance athletes are in the high 60s to 80s. But why should you care? Well, the research on this is overwhelming. A study of 122,000 patients at the Cleveland Clinic looked at factors that increase the risk of dying. And what they found, smoking increased mortality risk by 41%, diabetes by 40%, heart disease by 29%, but being unfit increased the chances of death by 400%. The American Heart Association has called for cardiorespiratory fitness to be treated as a clinical vital sign alongside blood pressure and cholesterol. Almost no doctor measures it, and perhaps they will in the future. And multiple separate high-quality studies have confirmed that the fitter you become, the longer you will live. Plus, those extra years will be less burdened by disease and frailty. But why is this? It's because exercise repairs and strengthens almost every system in your body. Just some of the benefits include your heart gets bigger and stronger, pumping more blood per beat, so it doesn't have to work as hard, and less wear and strain lowers the risk of heart attack and stroke. Regular exercise helps control blood sugar, body weight and fat accumulation, directly cutting your risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease and cancer. Every time you exercise, your muscles release healthy molecules called myokines that suppress the chronic inflammation that underlies most of the big killers. And exercise increases blood flow to the brain and stimulates the growth of new brain cells, reducing the risk of dementia by 20%. And if you don't exercise throughout life, the reverse is true, but you may not know until it's too late. Here's the problem most people don't see coming. After your mid-20s, most people gradually become less active. Life gets busy, demands change, we stop moving as much, and the body responds accordingly. If it doesn't feel like you need a fit, efficient machine, it won't stay one. The heart weakens, muscle mass drops, fat accumulates, and you won't notice it at first because you're not testing it. But the decline accelerates with each decade until you reach a tipping point around your 70s, when basic tasks that were effortless at 40, carrying shopping, climbing stairs, getting up off the floor, start to genuinely challenge you. But here's the thing, 50 to 70% of age-related fitness decline is due to disuse, not age, which means most of it is preventable. One analysis found that aerobic exercise could delay loss of independence by up to 20 years. So picture two versions of yourself at 80. In one, you're sharp, independent, hiking with your grandchildren. In the other, you're on multiple medications, confined to the house, struggling with stairs. Who do you want to be? Because it's mostly within your control, no matter what age you begin. So what do you actually need to do to improve your VO2 max? Well, the simple answer, any movement that raises your heart rate and breathing rate. Running, cycling, swimming, walking briskly. The body doesn't care what you're doing, it just registers the effort and adapts. It builds a stronger heart, more mitochondria, and VO2 max goes up. It's the effort that matters. Research consistently shows that people who only ever exercise at a comfortable pace often see little or no improvement in VO2 max. Zone 2 exercise, slow, steady exercise during which you can hold a conversation, is genuinely beneficial for health, but a major 2025 review of 167 studies concluded it's not enough on its own for most people. Adding genuine effort once or twice a week, something that makes conversation difficult, is what drives the extra gains. So how much effort is enough? Well, I have some great news. Here's one of the most important things to understand about exercise and health. The benefits are curvilinear. The more you do, the greater the benefit, but the gains are largest at the start and get smaller as you add more. Going from nothing to something delivers the biggest return of all. A study of 416,000 people found that 15 minutes of moderate exercise a day reduced mortality by 14% and added 3 years of life expectancy. A brisk daily 30-minute walk improves VO2 max by around 4 points. The speed at which you walk is now a recognized mortality predictor. And a 2022 study tracked 25,000 people who didn't exercise at all and found that just 3 brief bursts of hard effort, for example, jogging upstairs, walking briskly to your next meeting, totaling 3 to 5 minutes over the entire day, was associated with a 40% lower risk of dying. The key take home, do not discount small gains. They have huge impacts. You can, of course, do more and it will add further benefit, albeit with diminishing returns, but weigh that against your age, injury risk, and whether you'll sustain it long term. The key is finding the right amount that you will stick to for the rest of your life. Consistency is more important than intensity. So here's one way to build this into your life. Ensure you have regular movement every day. Around 8,000 steps is optimal for most people. Then add an aerobic activity you actually enjoy or at least don't dread. If it feels like punishment, you'll eventually stop, and sustainability is everything. Do that a couple of times a week if you can. Then add intensity gradually. Once regular movement feels easy, push harder sometimes. Add a little speed, add incline. Do short bursts where you're genuinely breathing hard. Even brief amounts count. And then build it up slowly. If you can, do more, but there's no rush, especially if you've been inactive for a long time. And if you like a structured protocol, the most evidence-backed is the Norwegian 4x4, 4 minutes of hard effort, 3 minutes easy, repeated 4 times, once or twice a week. It's simple, time efficient, and the research behind it is strong. I loosely track my VO2 max on my Apple Watch. The absolute numbers aren't perfectly accurate, but the trend is what matters. A year ago, my VO2 max was 41.2. Today, it's 59.2, a gain of 18. In the same period, I lost 18 kilograms and my metabolic age reversed by 6 years. And I only walk on a treadmill, mixing moderate pace with some speed and incline, which I've increased gradually. If you want the complete framework, the actions that matter most across sleep, nutrition, and exercise, I've put it into a free guide, link in the description and pinned comment below. In summary, your aerobic fitness, best measured by your VO2 max, is the single strongest predictor of how long you'll live, more than any other metric. The decline is real, starting in your mid-20s, and if you do nothing, it will eventually catch up with you. but most of that decline is reversible and you don't need to do much to make a real difference. Plus, you will benefit at any age and however unfit you are now. Do some regular aerobic exercise, something you will find easy to maintain, then add some intensity. Then over time, add a little more. If it's motivating to track your VO2 max, then do so, but you don't need to. It's the effort that matters, not the number, and you now know what to do. If you're already exercising and have some metrics to share, please put them in the comments. I love hearing real-world experience. If you found this useful, click the video on screen now for more, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming in the future. Thanks for watching.